Hello and welcome to another Electronic Cafe Celebrates episode. In this particular episode, we're looking at the amazing album The Power Station by The Power Station. They were a kind of British American, I'd say rock, pop, sort of supergroup. Originally formed in New York City and London in '84. Just to give you an idea of the lineup, this band, if you don't know, Robert Palmer was in it, former Chic drummer Tony Thompson, Duran Duran members John Taylor and Andy Taylor on bass and guitars, and Bernie Edwards, also Chic, was involved in the studio side as recording producer, and for a short time also functioned as the Power Station's manager.
Okay, a lot was going on around the Duran Duran mothership at this moment in time, so let me add a few points of context. Firstly, from day one, Duran Duran were always a hybrid of styles. John Taylor said that their manifesto was always the mix of dance rhythms of Chic with the rock guitars of the Sex Pistols, which they certainly did on the first two Duran Duran albums, with Nick Rhodes, Eno, Roxy Music, Bowie Electronic sitting somewhere in the middle. So they certainly already had one eye on the Chic boys.
Now, I remember when this song, Some Like It Hot, came out and was like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's a really good single that came out. And then I think what happened, how this happened after Duran Duran's third album, Seven and the Ragged Tigers, the members of the band took a planned sort of short hiatus. I think Le Bon went off to do Arcadia, which was much more still in the Duran Duran sphere of melodies and stuff. Whereas I think both Taylor's, Andy and John, wanted to do something a bit sort of hard rockier and funk.
The second point of context, despite the problematic third Duran Duran album Seven and the Ragged Tiger in 1983, Duran Duran were probably the biggest band in the world, so they could do no wrong. So when they took a hiatus from the band and from each other and decided to record two offshoot albums, this, the Power Station album, and Arcadia So Red the Rose album, they did it simply because of their position. And importantly, they did it because they could.
It kind of started on something of a whim originally. There was a one-time gathering of friends to provide backing to a model and would-be singer, I think her name was Babe Bell or Babe Buell. She wanted to record a cover of T-Rex's Get It On, and both Taylors were eager to branch out from, say, that synthesizer heavy pop of Duran Duran and play some Led Zeppelin flavoured rock and roll. And the participation of Idols and Chic lent to the project, sort of giving it a horn-infected funk vibe that meshed surprisingly well with those crunchy guitars and massive drums. And soon, this project evolved into the idea of being a supergroup. I think before Robert Palmer took the job, they approached Mick Jagger, Billy Idol, Mars Williams, Richard Butler of the Furs, Mick Ronson. But then they invited Palmer to record the vocals for the track Communication. When he heard that they had recorded demos for Get It On, he asked to try out the vocals on that song, and then decided to record the whole entire album with him. So by fate, it all worked out quite well, even though it was very short-lived.
In this period, the last time the original Duran Duran lineup played together was the under-rehearsed Live Aid performance in Philadelphia in July '85. And when the band reconvened to record the Notorious album, it was just Nick Rhodes, Simon Le Bon and John Taylor. Both Roger Taylor and Andy Taylor had left, and it's worth noting that the Notorious album was also produced by Nile Rodgers, yet another ex-member of Chic brought into the fold.
Sadly, Robert Palmer died in the early 2000s, and I think Tony as well.
This is a great album, and let's not forget there was also a follow-up album called Living in Fear, which made little impression. Not that Living in Fear was a bad record, to the contrary, it was a really good record, but a combination of timing and other well-publicised issues made it disappear without a trace.
But that particular snapshot in '85 was a fantastic album. If you haven't heard it, go investigate. The Power Station was a fantastic album, and so well worth checking out.
Happy anniversary to this, the Power Station, 40 years old this year.
North, south, east, west, go to zero. Nothing is the best, go to zero. How do this and how do that? When it's cold, I will have to. It's mostly cold. Just get yourself on time. Are you gonna do it? Feel the heat pushing Cat in black, don't look back, and I love him. You dirty and sweet woman. When you see him in the week, you get the teeth of the hydra upon you. You dirty sweet and you're my girl. Get it on, bang a gun, get it on. Who's kidding who? Put pictures all over town. I always knew that she was on the run. I read the paper and it said so. I know you like 'em to be troublesome. Take it to the maximum. She's a murderer, murderer. She likes to go for the drug. Riding or tight, looking's with us. We'll run the risk when we get so much to give us. Fate's on our side.